सर्व एव हि जैनानां प्रमाणो लौकिको विधिः यत्र सम्यक्त्वः निर्न yatra na vrata dushanam. All worldly practices are authentic, proper for Jains, as long as there is no samyak tohane means the damage to your good faith, proper faith, samyak, as well as vrata dushana, where vrata means ahimsa vrata is not
broken.
And this applies to sarva eva hi, to everything. Whatever the Jains have thought about the physics and chemistry and chemistry, cosmology, everything, pramano, as long as when you have discovered new things, now you know that the earth is moving and not the sun is moving.
Yeah.
Earth going around, okay, right. Now it is pramano now.
Yeah.
Although Tirthankaras, our Grantha might have said that the Prithvi stays on the sun and moon.
Right.
So, pramanam, sarva eva hi laukiko vidhi, pramano laukiko vidhi. Sarva eva hi jainanam pramanaha laukiko vidhi. Laukiko vidhi means that worldly practices, worldly beliefs, whatever is worldly vidhi, the word is there vidhi.
Yeah.
Vidhi nishedha.
Yeah.
So vidhi means that which has been approved as proper, like the new discoveries of the new planets or the new cosmology.
Right.
New chemistry,
right.
New physics,
right.
New biological sciences.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is which are not properly given in our Jaina text, but if they are pramano laukiko vidhi, sarva eva hi jainanam pramanam laukiko vidhi. Yatra, only thing is that samyak tohana, but not if you are going to say God exists and He created the universe. That's not possible, because that will be samyak tohanim.
Yeah.
Because everything has come up by itself. Just as you say God is created by Himself, Swayambhu. Same thing, everything is Swayambhu.
Yeah.
So, yatra samyak tohanirna,
yeah.
and vrata ahimsa vrata.
Yeah.
Where there is no saying that it's okay to kill animals,
right.
or perform a small sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yatra na vrata dusha. That you cannot have. But everything else otherwise is, and by everything you mean all sciences, everything, etc., about which Jains have said, Jaina cosmology, Loka Akasha and all that, need not be considered the last word until proved.
Right.
But if this is now, you say that the earth is going, but mind you, Jaina texts have both. Earth going around the earth. Beyond this earth, Jambudvipa, etc., Lavanodhadi, then other, circle by, there are several other Dvipa, Samudra circling each other. As time comes where beyond it, sun and moon are stationary, they don't move at all. That also is there. So, in other words, but they don't say that the Jambudvipa also has the sun and moon not moving. Now what to do? Now if you know the sun and moon are not moving, pramano laukiko vidhi. Now we accept it.
Right.
Because that was said by those people when those things known.
Yeah.
That don't take it as a word of Tirthankara.
Right.
He did not say it. Acharyas knew, this was like, every book was considered like encyclopedia of those times. You have to know everything, so whatever he knew, he put it in that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with moksha marga. Only moksha marga is to consider the world. And what is moksha marga? Belief in the seven jiva. There are infinite number of souls.
Yeah.
Ajiva, infinite number of pudgala.
Infinite
number of pudgala.
Ashrava.
And ashrava means that those pudgalas can be attracted to the soul.
Yeah.
Then they are bound by raga dvesha bandha.
Yeah, now finished.
And then there is the ashrava, nirodha, samvara.
Yeah.
And because of the samvara, there is no ashrava. And nirjara, you remove whatever has been collected.
Nirjara comes from?
Nirjara means expulsion.
Expulsion.
Jara has also been old age also.
Yeah.
So nirjara means falling away because of their old age.
Okay.
But it actually means nirgama.
Yeah.
It's an expulsion.
Yeah.
So nirjara means automatically just the fruit falls from the tree.
Right.
Without any effort.
Yeah.
So the karma binds for a certain time. It has a time decided at the time of binding. Because it depends upon if the krodha is very heavy.
Right.
Then the krodha will last long.
Right.
But if the krodha is just a momentary, it won't last long.
Right.
So, these are the nirjara, takes place by, you are asking how does the nirjara take place?
Yeah, because nirjara is the final solution, right? To our predicament.
Nirjara is first thing to negative thinking about the krodha, mana, maya, lobha. Krodha is not good for me.
Yeah.
Mana is not good for me.
Right.
Maya is not good for me.
Right.
Lobha is not good.
Yeah.
What is good for me then?
Yeah.
Kshama.
Ah.
That is the first kshama. Khame me savojive. This is Jaina Samayik. Khame prakrit.
Yeah.
Kshamayami. I forgive everyone.
Yeah.
Khame me savojive. Savve jiva khamantu me. May all beings also forgive me. Meti me savabhuyesu. Maitri I have towards all
Wonderful,
beings.
wonderful, wonderful.
Veram majja nake nabi. I have no hostility towards anybody.
Kya baat hai?
Veram is vairam.
Yeah.
Majjam is to me.
Yeah.
Nake. Khame me savojive. Sabbe jiva khamantu. I forgive everyone. Let all those beings with whom I have interacted,
Forgive.
they may forgive me. Meti me savabhuyesu. I have friendship towards all beings. Veram majja nake navi. I have no hostility towards anyone.
Yeah.
This is the everyday chanting.
Yeah.
So this is called samvara.
Samvara.
Because by samvara we oppose the krodha,
Yeah.
mana, maya, lobha. These are the ashrava.
Right.
So against krodha is kshama.
Right.
Against mana is humility.
Yeah, of course.
Against maya is straightforwardness.
Mm.
And against lobha is santosha.
Santosh.
Whatever santosha means
Yes,
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Whatever is,
Contentment.
Yeah, whatever. But mind you, all of these are good. These are actually in the Upanishads and everywhere.
That's
Hindus
what
are same, everything. There is no difference.
Yeah.
But vairagya nirjara, basic nirjara is when the karma shed off. It's raga for a woman was so strong for you that you went mad.
Yeah.
You could not think of anything else. You were so obsessed, etc.
Yeah, totally.
Now the reverse of it will be equally strong. That any thought of that kind of thing came, you are so strongly against it
Vairagya.
that the strength of that feeling should be 100 times more than the strength of that attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it's called, actually Arjuna asked, how do you control the senses? Abhyasena cha kaunteya, abhyasena cha grihate. Isn't it?
Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
force yourself at abhyasa. So,
and then
samvara is common to all Jaina and everyone.
In Yoga Sutras,
Yeah.
Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tad Nirodha.
Well, that's exactly
So both are coming there.
same thing. After all, there is no difference between Jaina yoga and this in this respect.
Yeah.
Samvara marga is the same.
Yeah.
There is Kama Shastra is Sutra, same thing, everyone.
Yeah.
So there is no real when it comes to moksha marga,
Yeah.
everyone is more or less going to see what I was saying is that this Benares Siddhas I was talking. That a Jaina must not criticize somebody because he is going to Hanumanji's temple or to deities or lower. He must not do anything but Tirthangara. He said no, because some people are not reached the stage of, for him it is sadhaka. Hanumanji's temple for him is sadhaka. You see, all villages had one Hanuman temple in Maharashtra, Maruti. Hanuman temple, at the end of the village there was Hanumanji's temple, where people can come and gather also. In the olden days, probably Ganesh temple also used to be. And that was considered Naga, what you call the Grama Devata or something.
Yeah. Village goddess, local goddess.
So Benares Siddhas of the समय सार नाटक शुरू होता है, ये फाटक खुलता है. Says, oh, thank you very, very much. Yeah, thank you. He says, hey, listen now this one. Whatever is sadhaka for him, going to Hanumanji's temple or something like that, may not be sadhaka for you. But it's like climbing the ladder. You leave the lower rung and go up. But if he has to use the middle rung, let him use the middle rung. He can't jump up.
Right.
Oh, he said, Jeev yaha sadhaka hai. At that level, whatever is sadhaka, let him be.
Yeah.
Let him do what he does.
Yeah.
Jeev yaha sadhaka hai. Tevu taha badhaka hai.
Yeah.
But when you go up, that Hanumanji temple has no meaning for you then.
Yeah.
Or the lower ladder steps are no meaning. Jeev yaha sadhaka hai. Tevu taha badhaka hai. Therefore, jo jahan hai, uske liye wo sadhana hai, to रहने दो.
Yeah. So,
Jeev jahan sadhaka hai.
basically
Tevu taha badhaka hai. As you go up, you release it. But then you say, wait, what are you doing there? Give it up. Don't say that.
Right.
Let him do.
Right.
Bring it up.
Yeah.
Let him raise him through that. In Gita also says the same thing. Bring him up his own way.
Right.
जेव यहाँ साधक है तेवु तहाँ बाधक है बाकी राग द्वेष न की बात क्या करनी. To say I hate this fellow because he is doing this, or I love this fellow because this is wrong. जेव यहाँ साधक है, let him be. तेवु तहाँ बाधक है, so बाकी राग द्वेष न की बात कहाँ करनी. राग द्वेष क्यों करना उसके लिए? तो this is the Jain attitude. Let there be. Let people do whatever they want.
This is the supreme philosophy.
Isn't it?
It is.
That's why.
This goes beyond even what we call all this secularism. This is about, this is about allowing a diversity of practices and thoughts to.
In other words, Jainism is not meant for all.
Yeah.
He says that Jainism is very difficult.
Yeah.
And therefore you should start with. So the story of Shrenika itself is a thing. That he was a Bhill in a previous life or something like that, and he used to kill animals. Bhill.
Forest.
Forest.
Yeah, forest lord.
So Munis come, Shwetambar story, Munis come in a forest. Through the forest, they have to go, and Chaturmasa comes, means the rainy season. So they have to ask permission of the somebody there. So they call this Bhila and says, look here, this is the time for us to stay in one place. Do you give us permission to stay here? He has seen such people coming and going through the forest. So he says, on the one condition, you must not tell me what to give up.
He gets to decide.
You must not tell me what to give up. Because everyone tells me do this, do that. I said, okay. Then after Chaturmasa, they are leaving. Sadhus are leaving now.
Yeah.
They must leave.
Yeah.
After Chaturmasa, they must start walking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they call him. Says that, look here, 4 months we have lived here with you, Chaturmas. Now we are leaving. It is our duty as gurus, as those, to give you also something. We can't go free without giving you something. Please give up something. Because he had said earlier, you tell me don't give up, don't give up.
Yeah.
Please give up something. It is our duty to tell you that as a ahimsa, please give up something because you are a meat eater of any kind. So he thinks for a long time and says, all right, I will not eat crow's meat.
Yeah. He's going to pick something.
Kaka mamsa.
Kakamamsa.
So be it.
Yeah.
Then it so happens, he falls ill. And the Vaidya says that the only remedy for it is kaka mamsa. Then he sticks to it.
Yeah.
And then how the story goes then, that how he does not die.
Yeah.
And what's it? Then he accepts the ahimsa. So these are the Jaina stories of saying, look here, give people what they can practice gradually without telling them bad things.
Right.
That look here, you are a fool, you are doing this and that.
Right.
Nothing at all. No conversion.
Yeah, you got to speak to people at their level and
Yeah.
and their perspective. It's like teaching even.
Hmm?
You know, teaching. You have to teach to every level of the student in the class.
Correct. जीव यहाँ साधक है,
हाँ.
तेऊ तहाँ बाधक है.
Yeah.
बाकी राग द्वेष की बात कहाँ पे?
Clearly. Yeah. Okay, pause now, Professor.
You do whatever you can.
Yeah.
Don't force it on others. What is good for you is good for you.
That's it. That's the main thing. Why do you want to force anything on others?
If others are doing something differently,
Yeah.
as long as they are not doing himsa,
Yeah.
you let them go.
I can summarize this Jain philosophy, or I would say just Indian philosophy.
Yeah.
Live and let live.
Absolutely.
Live and let live.
Do you know something about
That saying?
Jambu Vijayji, a famous...
Well, there's the other one, live and let die.
No. Jaina Acharya Jambu Vijayji,
Okay.
whose name appears in my book.
Yeah.
He is the one who has written about this three moksha, etc.
Uh-huh.
About me, he told me to go to Digambara and ask questions about it.
Yeah.
He was given this
You
whole
must have
thing.
written a lot about this in your Gender and Salvation.
So he was...
Right.
So he told by somebody, big fellow, Jainism is really live and let live. As you said just now.
Yeah.
So what do you say, Swami Maharaj? What do you have? A small change will be probably not bad.
Yeah.
Instead of saying live and let live, why not say let live and live?
Wow.
Isn't that a
क्या
profound?
बात है?
Isn't that profound?
क्या बात है? अरे वाह वाह वाह.
Why live and let live?
अरे वाह.
Let live and live.
अरे वाह.
Isn't that, you should write it down.
I got it finished.
Yeah. And you can write it on that how the Jaina Acharya said,
Yeah.
why say live and let live?
Uh,
Because living is important for you.
Yeah.
And then you will let live as if you are obliging somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing a favor.
Exactly.
Rather you should say, let live.
Yeah.
Then live.
Yes.
Isn't that profound? Very
Profound.
no one has published it. You should publish it.
It's published.
Jambu Vijayji.
It's published now.
Jambu Vijayji. That's his name.
Professor, I know you've written about this and had many discussions, and there's not one reason why Buddhism does not exist in India, or there's not one reason why Jainism has continued. But could you, considering that you have studied both of these traditions in quite a bit of depth, reflect on why do you think that Buddhism, met its end in India, flourished elsewhere, but not in India, whereas Jainism stayed in India and never went anywhere else?
I have written about this, saying mostly that Buddhism did not cultivate the lay people enough. Lay people remained practically Vaishnavas or Shaivas, whosoever they are, and added Buddha as one of the avatars and Bodhisattvas, etc. So when Buddhism lost Bodhisattvas as well as Buddha as an avatar, etc., the Buddhists never protested it.
Right.
And therefore, having lost the Buddha himself as an avatar, there was nothing to save. Because for the local people, lay people, ordinary men and women, they were at heart Hindus. They were undergoing Hindu samskaras, and according to the caste system they were living, there was no Buddhism especially guiding. Only the Buddhist monks who were there, they were Buddhists.
Right.
Others were not Buddhists. Others were just whatever they were earlier.
Right.
Buddha added one more thing without excluding anything. Whereas for the Jainas, they never allowed any Tirthankar to be made into Vishnu's avatar.
Right.
I have an article on that, the Jina Rishabha as an avatar of Vishnu,
right,
and
right.
how the Jainas responded to it,
Right,
etc.
right.
And this idea that you should cultivate the laity. Jainas have 40 Shravakacharas, whereas only one Upasaka Dhyana for the Buddhists. Therefore, the Buddhists let go of the lay people,
Right.
thinking that, and Buddhist sadhus, they themselves did not lead any extraordinary life. They became meat eaters themselves.
Yeah.
And then, because of that, they could easily travel outside India.
Yeah.
And therefore they went into Afghanistan, modern,
Right.
and then from there to Bamiyan, and from there to China, here and there, they could travel. Whereas Indian sadhu could not take even water, unboiled water.
Yeah.
So he could not live without a Jain community surrounding him.
That's
Therefore, Jaina sadhu and Jaina community, Shravikas, they became an integral part.
That's it.
And therefore, Jainism could not spread even in India everywhere.
Right.
Whereas Buddhism spread outside India. But in India itself, the Buddhists were Buddhists as well as non-Vaishnavas, etc.,
Right.
whosoever they were. And as the influence of Buddhism less and less, Avatara became, Buddha as an avatar, that article I have written,
Yeah.
where Buddha is shown in the step well, there is Buddha
Yeah,
as an
Nani
avatar.
Kibav.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amita. And so I have said that by losing Buddha to the avatar, and this is the way, and the tantric and the mantric and tantric invasion of the Buddhism through various goddesses, Tara and so on and so forth, Buddhism lost its vigor. There were no Buddhist monks left. There were no Buddhist monks left to Nepal and here and there. Whereas the Jaina sadhus could not leave their Jaina household, Jaina temples, Jaina villages, Jaina cities, because a Jaina monk cannot live without boiled water for his shaucha,
Yeah.
which a Shravaka has to give him.
Right.
So closely connected are the Jaina sadhus and these lay people
Right.
that this is the reason why Jaina sadhus maintained the Jaina community and this survived. That's one thing. Now lately I begin to believe, and about which I have talked, Sanskritization of the text by the Buddhists, every Diga Nikaya, etc., they were Dirghagama, Madhyamagama, this and that. All the Brahmins, they said, Sanskritize everything.
Yeah.
What is this Prakrit language doing? Sanskritize everything. And so all Pali manuscripts were destroyed.
There's
That
not
means
one-
let alone be dying. Manuscripts will die by their own self because the palm leaves do not last
Yeah.
unless you recopy.
Yeah.
So nobody copied. Pali were let go. Pali word itself was let go. Not a single Pali manuscript was found all over India, even in closest Malabar.
Yeah.
Because in Sri Lanka, there was all Pali manuscripts in there. So why is that? Because Sanskritization meant what? That Pali was forgotten, original words of the Buddha written in Pali language, Magadhi language, that was forgotten. And when you Sanskritize it, that was also not correct Sanskrit, that was hybrid Sanskrit.
Right.
As later on our own Edgerton shows, that was not Sanskrit at all, that was hybrid Sanskrit. Means what? Not all Prakrit Pali could be rendered into Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Only certain words could be entered into correct Sanskrit. So Ardham and halfway through they made wrong Sanskritization.
Yeah.
And that's why only Edgerton had the courage to use the word Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Indeed, I was present in Benares University. This I have not mentioned in my book. Benares University, Acharya Narendra Dev was Vice Chancellor. He was himself a Buddhist scholar. He invited Edgerton, after his publication of the Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit, 3 volumes, text, grammar and vocabulary.
Yeah.
And so when he came, Edgerton, he came to give a talk.
Yeah.
It was summer.
Yeah.
He came in his half pants to the lecture. And all the big hall, American scholar.
Yeah.
And the talk was titled Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit.
Yeah.
I remember the day. I should have written it in my memory.
Tell it now.
As Acharya Narendra Dev stood up to introduce Professor Edgerton, saying that the eminent scholar who has this book called Buddhist Hybrid Sanskrit, he showed the books, 3 volumes.
Yeah.
One is the dictionary,
Yeah.
one is the the grammar,
Right.
and one is the text.
Yeah.
So he was at Yale.
Yeah.
Immediately, Brahmin Pandits from the Pandit college stood up. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. Sanskrit cannot be hybrid.
This is a great story. Yeah.
Hybrid Sanskrit, you keep on telling.
Yeah.
Sanskrit is not hybrid.
Right.
Call it Prakrit.
Prakrit.
This is what the Brahmins in the audience, who are the scholars. You see, Benares University has Sanskrit also in the College of Indology, but there is a separate college for Pandits.
Acha.
Shastri.
Like, what do they do there?
Even now,
I know, but what do they do?
they do the Sanskrit, Mimamsa, Nyaya,
Oh, that
all
stuff.
those
Oh,
shastras.
okay.
They have got Nyaya professor, Mimamsa professor,
God.
Sankhya professor, Vedanta, 3 Vedantas, different. They are specialists. So there are about 10 Pandits, all from Benares. These are all Shastris. Speak only with the pan in their mouth. They speak Hindi. And they don't sit on chair. They have got gaddi to sit. The students sit at the edge of the gaddi. And then this is how they teach. Even today,
I know.
that's called the Shastris.
Yeah.
And they had come, said that Sanskrit to be hybrid, Sanskrit you call, shame on you. hybrid Sanskrit. They won't let him talk.
Oh my God.
Edgerton, poor
Edgerton
man.
is amazing.
Edgerton stood there and he said, "You are right there, When the next time edition comes, we will change it." Indeed, there never was a next time. But Professor Brough, who has reviewed his book in the Journal of the Oriental BSOS, he has said that in future, instead of calling Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit, we will call it Gandhari Dharma, Gandhari Sanskrit, Gandhara, and therefore his book called Gandhari Dhammapada. You write down.
Yeah, no, I know that one.
Gandhari Dhammapada.
That was found at Dunhuang?
John Brough.
Yeah.
He collected manuscripts from Dunhuang area and all that area, and therefore he called it Gandhari Dhammapada.
Wow.
So Gandhari was a name coined by Brough instead of hybrid Sanskrit.
Right.
So Gandhari, he didn't call it Prakriti one.
Right.
Gandhari Dharmapada.
Now, since you brought up Professor Brough,
Yeah.
I would really like for everyone to know
Yeah,
the
sure. He was
story
a very great scholar.
about how Buddhu Kathir, how he came there and how that changed her
Yeah.
life. I mean, yoga, this is a yoga
Absolutely,
moment in your life.
Brough's coming is yoga for
So
me.
1952 BHU.
Yeah, that's right. And
So
then
what
he
happened?
comes and he looks at my Abhidharma Deepa work.
Yeah.
He's so impressed by that.
Yeah.
Then he goes, and suddenly nothing happened. For 6 months, he never forgot. He never even acknowledged a letter saying from Nepal
Right.
that thanks for your hospitality in Benares.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Yeah. But can I just interrupt? I think I remember you saying that when Brough had first come and saw that you were working on this very interesting text, he picked it up.
Yeah.
And you said he read it as if he was reading the newspaper. I mean, it was so...
Yeah, that's right, correct. He could read any manuscript.
Any manuscript, just like it was...
He read Chinese and Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Chinese he read like you read Sanskrit.
Yeah.
He had that Chinese background. He came from Cambridge.
Yeah.
And he was professor of Sanskrit, professor of Bailey,
Yeah.
Harold Bailey,
Bailey, yeah.
very famous scholar. He had written on the Khotanese language.
Yeah, Khotan, yeah.
And Brough knew Khotanese, Brough knew all sorts of these things. He could read Sanskrit, he could Russian, German, all Europe. Cambridge, Oxford, Cambridge people once upon a time were like
level,
that. But of course he could not speak Sanskrit.
Right.
He can read only any of these languages, Latin.
Yeah.
So he was impressed by that Abhidharma Deepa chapter.
Yeah.
And that's why he forgotten. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he receives a message from, and I got it a week before I was married, as I told, that I came to, I've forgotten all things. Brough left in October of 55.
Yeah.
And I came to, in May month, I came to Karkala, my place. I had shifted from Nellika to Karkala with my father. And at that time. And my father was dead in 51. So this is now we are talking about the 56. 56 September, 55 September, Prof had come to Benares. Okay?
I thought it was 52.
No,
Right.
55.
Right.
I was in Benares at that time when he came.
All right.
52, I was in Ahmedabad.
Okay.
Then he came to Benares. That's maybe, no, it is 55. 55, Brough came to Benares in September.
Yeah, okay.
Before that came
Snell? No.
that fellow who was going to Nepal.
Yeah. Who was that?
He wanted me to store his luggage.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
so he came.
He did all the big book on Nepal and Tibet.
Yeah, that's right.
Who is that? Who is that?
Well, my name will come to him.
Anyway,
go ahead. He wrote the word Buddhist Himalaya also. He has a book called Buddhism. I have a copy downstairs. He is also the author of the He Vajra Tantra, very big book, Tibetan and Sanskrit. He Vajra Tantra, Nepal. So Brough forgot me altogether after coming to September, and then I came to in between from December to in December I had come home during the vacation, and Shashi's father, Kumarayya, whose picture is there in the cupboard, he came looking for me. He wanted my Jataka. Karkala, he came to us. Normally, you go to my mama.
Yeah.
My mama is in Beltangadi. So he must have gone there first.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't have a Jataka, Padmanabh,
Yeah.
so you may have to go on. So he found out that I was coming home.
Yeah.
In December, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
December of 55.
Yeah.
So he came and he said, I would like to have your Jataka and this and that and all that.
And there's only one reason anyone wants a Jataka of a boy.
Yeah. And then I said, then we exchanged the Jatakas. Then we exchanged the Jatakas.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that book
I just wanted, I think Brough's letter is in this, right?
That's right, yeah. So he came.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
What are you looking for?
Brough's letter.
Oh yeah, Brough's letter is a picture. There's a picture of Brough's letter.
Yeah. I'll find it. Go ahead, you keep telling the story.
There are pictures coming at the end.
Yeah.
At the end there are pictures.
Yeah. You with the Pope, you with the Dalai Lama, you with Mark Tully. I mean, these are just amazing.
After that, I think comes Brough's letter.
No, I don't
Still
think-
go further.
Maybe it's not in here.
There are pictures then.
Is there? I know I have a copy of Brough's letter.
There will be pictures there. You tell me, show me, I will pick up quickly.
All right.
Then, in December, our Mavaji, my Mahaji Kumaraya came, and then he said, give me your Jataka and I will exchange Shashi Jataka, etc., etc.
It's okay. Maybe it's not in there, actually.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Brough's letter is here.
Okay. I'll show it soon. Go ahead. You tell the story now.
That's the letter.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me put it in here. There's the letter. What does it say? Dear Professor Jaini, you may have heard that our lecturer in Pali in London, Dr. D. Marshall, who is the daughter of W. Steele, died some months ago. I have now, and the authority of the School of Oriental and African Studies, thinking to fill the vacant post in the near future. It occurred to me at once that you yourself would be an admirable candidate to fill this post, and I am therefore writing to find out what you would feel about it. Bah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, well, then there's the other famous, he wrote it from Kathmandu. Kathmandu, 8th May, 1956.
That's what I'm saying. And during this time of December to May, Shashi's father had come and we had decided what to do about marriage and all that.
Yeah.
So Jataka, Ahmedabad people with whom I was staying in the Mayur building, said Popatlal Hemchand, he was a great astrologer. Popatlal Hemchand, Hemant's parent. Ahmedabad with whom I stayed in that house.
Yeah, I think I called their
Yeah, you called Hemant.
Yeah.
And so you did meet him there. I think
I didn't
you
meet
did
them,
not
but
meet him. I
talked
think you
on
heard.
the
Yeah,
phone,
talked to him. So Popatlal Hemchand looked at my wife's horoscope. So that it's a great horoscope. It's like a man's horoscope. She will be very ambitious. She will be very ambitious. She is like you. She is not going to be subservient to you.
Yeah.
You will have to be. But then your Saptamasthana is affected by some graha.
Yeah.
So you are also going to have 50% happiness only, and so does her. So this matches. So you'll fight without killing each other. Otherwise, one of them will be dead.
Right.
So either you'll be widower, or she will be whatever.
Yeah.
And therefore, with all she's good for you. Just as you are good for him, but you will fight. You will have problem because she is a very ambitious woman. And she is ambitious in the sense, 7th grade education in Mudbidri.
Yeah.
Suddenly married.
Yeah.
Come to London.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
Have 2 children.
Yeah.
Then having come here,
Yeah.
she went to community school here.
Yep.
Community college here.
Yep.
Got her BA degree.
Yep.
Got a job with Wells Fargo Bank.
Yep.
As
She's
soon as
an amazing lady.
Arvind and Asha went to college, house was empty.
Yeah.
She went to community college here,
Yep.
got her degree,
Yep.
secured a job accounting department in Wells Fargo on the University Avenue,
Yeah, right.
near that corner.
Yeah.
That's
Where the
where-
bus picks up.
That's right. That is where she got the first job.
I know.
And suddenly, after 4 years, she got at the lab, university lab.
Yeah.
And you can go and see that picture. She is sitting at the, just look at
Yeah,
that,
I know
with
that
her
one.
name there, with a
Yeah.
label on that,
Yeah,
Shashi
yeah.
Jaini.
It says it there, I know.
And she sits there. She got the lab job, Berkeley lab.
Yeah, I know.
Can you imagine her lab? And she made friendship with so many people in that.
Yeah.
All girls,
Yeah.
women. They
Yeah.
would come here and have lunch together and roam around.
Yeah.
And she will make huge amounts of food, this and
Food,
that.
yeah.
All during the daytime. Jaini doesn't know anything. Jaini is in office.
Hey, he's having his
He's
fun, she
munching
was
his
having her
sandwiches where we are having a wonderful time. All the women. And then she gave heavy gifts to them also.
Good.
Sometimes she'll buy some jewelry.
That's it.
One woman, she gave away the car, Asha's car, which would have second-hand value of $3,000 or something like that,
Yeah.
Volkswagen. And I said, that money can be used for some donation to some girls' school in India.
Yeah.
She said, no, I want to give this to this my friend. And she did give, free.
Yeah.
Like that she was.
Yeah.
So she made her own friends.
Yeah.
And I had at least 6 people who were shocked when they called and I found out. I told them that Shashi is no more. Oh my God! One was a Cambodian, one was a Chinese, another was a Vietnamese, like that.
Yeah.
One was a Filipino.
Yeah.
So these are all ladies,
Yeah.
all her colleagues either in the lab or in the bank,
Yeah.
and they maintained friendship.
Yeah.
So she was a really, imagine,
Yeah.
7th grade from Mudbidri,
Yeah. I know.
becoming a lab
Yeah.
with her own stool,
In a different
corner,
country, everything.
isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you account for that? Because she had the ambition,
Yeah.
and I was not appreciative of her.
Yeah.
She was complaining that you still think of me as nothing but this and that,
Yeah.
a cook for you,
Yeah.
which is true.
Yeah.
Underestimation was
Yeah.
or all Indian men have that underestimation.
Yeah.
So Asha became she went to graduate school, law school in Washington DC, and there she got a job under Senator Cranston,
Right.
which Cranston had cancer, so he came here.
Right.
With her she came, and she died of neurological problem in her own apartment alone. We did not even know.
I know, for 2 days.
So that was another tragedy.
That's the biggest tragedy.
Shashi suffered and she
Oh,
never
yeah.
recovered.
I know.
No, dude, you can't recover. What I'm really trying to say is that how things happen.
Yeah.
At the time of marriage, who knew that these things will happen? And yet, I agreed, okay, I will marry.
Yeah.
A time comes when you say yes.
Yeah.
And that is called kutra kena kada. You never know.
Yeah.
You may resist, and suddenly one day the girl will say, all right, I will marry him. Or
Yeah,
you will
yeah,
say,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
let it be.
Not like the Banarsi guy.
You know? So what I'm saying is that this is the way fate works. I don't know
Yeah.
how to. So I came to, let the story back from the Brough.
Well, I'll just add one thing, about Auntie. I mean, in all the years that I hung out with you, I never heard any single person ever speak out, say that you were wrong,
No.
question you on anything except her. And she happily did it.
Well, because she had expectations from me.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
So what I'm saying is that she led a very sickly life since that age of 44. All the way. She had twice cancer. And but then she persisted on building a house,
Yeah.
building the garden,
Yeah.
making friends,
Yeah.
and buying things and buying things and buying things, and then giving away also equally.
Yeah, good.
She also believed in giving away
Good,
things.
that's good.
Car giving away,
Yeah.
this giving away.
Yeah.
And I did never say anything about it.
Yeah.
But my nature being what it was, that small is beautiful,
Yes.
less is better.
Yes.
Huh? Why spend, why waste kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because this was instilled in by my parents,
Of course.
that we have got so little,
Yeah.
we can't afford to waste anything.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Kanashah kshanashashchaiva.
The gold coin can go in a
No,
moment?
not kana means the grain.
Oh, grain, sorry.
Kanashah kshanashashcha. Each moment is like a grain. Kanashah kshanashashchaiva. Vidyam artham cha sadhayet.
Sadhayet.
You should collect kana kana. That's how artha means the money is made.
Right.
Pile is made of money.
Right.
By joining penny.
Right.
Kanasha, as well as vidya is learned every moment.
Cumulatively.
Kshanashasya, kana rhyme. Kanasha, kshanashasya. Vidyam artham cha sadhayet.
Wow.
Vidya learning, as well as artham is wealth, is collected. Sadhayet means earning.
Yeah.
Kanatyage, kshanathyage, kanatyage kuto artha. If you give a penny, where will be dollars?
Yes.
Kanatyage kuto artha, kshanathyage kuto. Kanatyage kuto, kshanathyage kuto vidya.
Yeah.
If you moment let go without learning anything, you kanatyage kuto dhanam.
Yeah.
So that was instilled in me,
Yeah.
that every penny counts.
Yeah.
And since my father did not give me anything,
Only 5 rupees.
5 rupees not to me, to the institution, as on my behalf.
Yeah.
And that account was never closed, never opened.
Yeah.
Whenever I had to a pencil or shirt, this and that, there was a shop in the ashram.
Then you just write it, right?
Somebody sitting there will write, Padmanabh, so much.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they will make a collection of students with their parents if they come.
Yeah.
But in my case, nobody came.
Yeah.
So I was never told.
Right.
It's only now, 3 years ago, 5 years ago rather,
Yeah.
that I gave away $10,000 to the ashram.
Oh, good.
Yeah, as a donation.
Very good.
Complete.
Very good.
$10,000
Very good.
in rupees.
Good.
And that was published just before that. That big volume you brought from ashram volume.
Yeah.
Before that,
Yeah.
$10,000 I gave donation to ashram.
Yeah, good.
Similarly, I gave some $3,500 donation to Nellikar temple.
Okay, good.
I gave that money to my sister Rohini, that every year the interest accrued, you go and give it to Nellikar temple.
Very good.
That way they will continue.
Yeah.
So I gave $10,000 to UC Berkeley also,
Yeah?
in my fellowship.
Oh, yeah, the fellowship thing.
Yeah, but then it was a company. But Alex, who was the chair at that time, made me Numata chair immediately.
Yeah.
Numata chair gives you 20,000.
Right.
So he made up that money also.
Yeah.
So in other words, when the money given, money comes back.
Yeah.
In my case, nothing was. So one thing I did, ashram, I gave $10,000
Yeah.
in lieu of whatever I had bought. So this is all done so that I could now go peacefully out of life without anything at all. So basically, we are coming to this point now that. Anyway, the story of my marriage comes there. That in '55, when I came back to Karkala, at that time Karkala, my mother, sister, and my younger brother Prabhakar were there. This is the 56th May. I came to get married now, and May 20th is the time. A week before June 4th was the marriage. Her father, as well as my mama Padmaraj from Beltangadi came, and some couple of senior people from Mudbidri came, ladies and their ladies, for a Vang Nishchaya, betrothal kind of thing, which is 8 days before. At least you should do 8 days before the marriage.
Engagement.
Engagement, something like that.
Well, in Andhra, it's a big deal. That, at least I don't know. In this channel, that's when they say this. It's a done deal now.
Correct. Yeah. In our community also it was a big deal, but since I was coming from Benares, so they agreed that at least 8 days. So we had performed that Havana, etc. Indra had come, and we had a good meal, payasa and all that. Paramana is called. So we had a good meal and we were sleeping. And then Prabhakara, it was a weekday. Prabhakara came saying, Anna, there is an air letter for you. That air letter was Brough's letter.
So Brough mailed it to Karkala, or someone had
No, it came from Benares. From Benares, it was redirected.
Got it, okay.
I had given to Benares post office that I am going for a month or two, so please redirect. Not knowing at that time that anybody will send from.
Right.
So Brough, that was the first time Brough thought of writing to me. Although he could have written a thank you letter, he did not. What I'm saying is that, and that letter is Brough's letter. That means immediately after marriage, we have to leave now to London. Suddenly. And that was the whole point. That Shashi had come out of her seventh grade school. That's the school finished her. And she had to get whatever there was and come quickly. And then she got pregnant in September. So it was decided that I should leave her in London, home. and go to London.
Right.
And then when she arrives in London, that picture is given. When she,
I know.
isn't that picture?
It's
it was
very
a good
nice.
picture in the
She
middle.
put the big coat on.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she wrapped in a shawl.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about your mother's book.
Oh, that mother's book is her Abhinandana Patrika. Means what? She's honored. My mother had a book on the same this Mahavira Charitra.
Yeah.
Posthumously published. So here it is one by one.